The controversy between Blake and Justin continues to set the internet ablaze, with everyone eagerly watching their next moves in this ongoing PR storm. So, what's the latest update, and how is Team Blake handling the mounting evidence against her? Well, it seems she has a few strategies up her sleeve, one of which involves a fellow actress filing an absurd lawsuit. Public sentiment has largely shifted in Justin Baldoni's favor over the past few weeks. While fans initially rallied behind Blake, believing she was the victim, it didn't take long for her true colors to emerge. As more receipts surfaced, courtesy of Justin, people started losing faith in her. Even journalist Megyn Kelly had a rather blunt take on the unfolding drama.
And Brian Friedman knows how to fight back against a bully. Trust me. And he started telling everybody Justin Baldoni's side. He told us that Justin Baldoni denied those claims of sexual harassment and only tried to appease Blake Lively because she was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat. He had to bend over backwards just to get her to shut up and complete the film. He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
Megyn Kelly didn't hold back, stating that Blake has a god complex, something evident in her referring to herself as KH from Game of Thrones. She also highlighted Justin's claims, pointing out that while Blake insists she was simply acknowledging the strong support system around her, in reality, it was a thinly veiled threat that fooled no one.
Now, what they showed is that Blake Lively has got a bit of a god complex. She's texting Justin Baldoni about how she sees herself as Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, mother of dragons. Did you watch that? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So Khaleesi is stunningly beautiful. She's this effervescent, strong character with temerity and resilience, and she's fierce. She's literally the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones. That's her. That's me. That's Blake. And she says, and I've got the greatest dragons on earth, Ryan Reynolds and my best friend, who is Taylor Swift, though she's not named or they blacked it out. So she's telling him, I'm mother of dragons and my dragons will cut a bitch. And my dragons are named Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. So the message is pretty clear.
A behavioral analyst even weighed in on Blake's claims about Justin acting inappropriately during a scene that wasn't being audio recorded. However, Justin later released footage of the scene, explaining that the entire purpose of it was to portray the movie characters sharing a close moment.
As soon as camera was called out, she's talking to him as Blake, trying to give a directive note. She started that. And he just followed her lead and explained, no, it's okay with the light behind me, it looks good, and so on and so on. Another really interesting thing about that moment is as he explains to her that it's nice for him to be in front of the light, and when he blocks it, he leans in and he gets really close to her ear and he almost like whispers it to her very softly. And we might look at that and go, why did he say it like that? Why didn't he just tell her? And there's a very good reason for this. They're both very aware of the fact that we're only going to use the visuals of this, not what they're saying. So to get this shot, their body language needs to communicate Ryle and Lily having this slow dance, but it's okay to be talking about other stuff as long as they could get the visuals across.
So, Justin wasn't acting inappropriately, he was simply doing his job. While the audio of the scene was casual, the visuals were specifically intended for the movie.
This is very common in Hollywood productions. I can't tell you how often I filmed projects either as a consultant or in front of the camera, and when we were filming something that we knew only the visuals matter, we need to communicate something visually, we're talking about completely unrelated stuff, as long as we know the visuals get across. So in this case, he's following her lead. She started talking about, they're dancing. She started talking about where they should stand, and he just responded while still giving the camera the visuals that they need for this Lily and Ryle slow dance.
However, the behavioral analyst remained impartial, noting that Blake didn't seem entirely comfortable, so she may have had a point. But others have countered that this is exactly why having an intimacy coordinator on set is crucial, something Blake herself reportedly refused.
Here it's a little tense. We're also seeing on her face this little bit of a faint smile, but there is tightness around the nose and around the mouth, and it doesn't look like a super relaxed smile. And finally, we do see that she is a little leaned back, and at first, he's a little more leaned towards her. But the moment he notices this kind of bit of a disengagement, notice what he does. He also disengages. So what we're seeing here is a dance, pun intended, where she's saying something, he's leaning in to whisper in her ear, she's backing up, he's backing up in response.
Things took an even more unexpected turn when Ryan Reynolds made a joke about the lawsuit on SNL, leaving many people confused. After all, who would joke about something like this if their wife had truly been harassed? To make matters worse, the joke wasn't even scripted, it was completely off the cuff.
Now, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have been in the news a lot, and Ryan Reynolds, we want to know, was that an improv or was it scripted, his little piece he did?
That was actually, he had a different line in rehearsal, and he pitched that to replace it. So that was his idea to do it.
It was Ryan's idea. I just don't know. I feel like we deserve something. We deserve an award for just sniffing that out. Like, he is a true, thoroughbred narcissist.
Team Blake also took legal action by filing a subpoena, requesting access to Justin Baldoni's phone messages. They are hoping to find evidence that supports their claims.
Earlier this week, the Lively parties issued subpoenas to cellular providers AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, seeking, quote, all documents concerning ingoing and ongoing calls or text messages related to phone number, and then it's blocked out, belonging to each of the individual Wayfarer parties, some of their employees, and various non-party individuals, including but not limited to call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site location information. The subpoenas seek such information over a period of multiple years, in most cases spanning from December 1st, 2022 to the present. It is hard to overstate how broad, invasive, and atypical these subpoenas truly are. This is civil litigation, not a criminal prosecution, and the Lively parties are not the FBI. Yet the subpoenas seek not only the complete call and text history of each of the targets over a period of several years, no matter the sender, recipient, or subject matter, but also over the same period, real-time location information and data logs reflecting, among other things, web browsing history. This would include, of course, materials protected from disclosure by a laundry list of statutes and privileges.
Now that Blake's team has filed an amended complaint, everyone was eager to see if it contained any groundbreaking evidence, but it didn't. Instead, they appeared to take comments out of context in an attempt to paint Justin as having a history of being inappropriate toward the women in his life.
In public, Mr. Baldoni gave the appearance of taking responsibility for the fact that he had, quote, unconsciously been hurting and silencing women in his life, and implored men to be man enough to, quote, shut the hell up and listen to women. He claimed that he wanted to end toxic masculinity, acknowledging his own toxic behavior by admitting that, quote, there is a woman or two that I in some way made uncomfortable by saying something or doing something that was chauvinistic or sexist. There is 1,000,000% probability that that exists.
Candace Owens called out Blake's team for including unrelated dialogue in the legal document, pointing out that much of it had little to do with the actual case.
I've had to take a real honest look at the ways that I've unconsciously been hurting the women in my life. And it's ugly. My wife told me that I had been acting in a certain way that hurt her and not correctly. Basically, sometimes when she would go to speak, at home or in public, I would just cut her off mid-sentence and finish her thought for her. It's awful. The worst part was that I was completely unaware when I was doing it. It was unconscious. So here I am doing my part, trying to be a feminist, amplifying the voices of women around the world, and yet at home, I am using my louder voice to silence the woman I love the most. So I had to ask myself a tough question. Am I man enough to just shut the hell up and listen?
Candace Owens also pointed out how the complaint included a clip of Justin discussing the importance of holding men accountable, framing it as if he were admitting to his own wrongdoing. In reality, the clip was from an interview where he was simply talking about his character, and it ends with us.
What do you want men to take away from this film?
I want men, first of all, I want men to stop asking the question, why do women stay?
Yeah.
Right? I want men to take accountability. I want men to hold other men accountable. And in this particular film, I want men to go to the theater and in some way see a version of themselves You have two very different characters. Both of them, in Atlas and Ryle, have had past trauma. One handles it very different than the other. And my other hope is that the men who have not done the work, to heal, if they see bits of themselves in Ryle, have a chance to step back and say, you know what, I don't want to blow up my life. I don't want to hurt the person I love the most. I need to get help. I need to feel all these things that I've buried so deep down so that it doesn't explode on somebody that I love. And hopefully that can create some compassion and empathy and make the world a safer place.
Candace Owens also criticized the new legal document for its manipulative language, claiming that Blake is trying to justify why no one else is publicly taking her side.
6 in this lawsuit says the dangerous climate of threats, harassment, and intimidation fueled by the defendant's retaliation campaign has required Ms. Lively to alter her personal and professional life and to take steps to protect innocent bystanders rather than exposing them to further harm. So she's now using this to explain away why no one's joining in on her lawsuit, okay? They're setting that up right at the beginning. Essentially, no one's going to join in, but just so you know, this is to protect them. I'm going to explain to you why that's absolutely BS. It goes on and reads, thus, this amended complaint does not refer to certain witnesses by name, nor does it provide screenshots of their text messages. Importantly, however, these witnesses have given Ms. Lively permission to share the substance of their communications in this amended complaint as contained herein, and they will testify and produce responsive documents in the discovery process. Okay, let's just pause to make sure everybody understands what's happening here, because they think we are so stupid, okay? I'm not going to include them in here because I'm going to protect them. But down the line, I'm going to subpoena them and force them against their will, which means that they are not willing participants and that you don't have their support, because the reality is you can compel them to testify, okay?
Many have pointed out that Blake's lawsuit seems to be an attempt to gaslight the public into taking her side, now even bringing up the fact that another actress had previously filed a complaint against Justin.
Bossy Blake said that another actress had filed a complaint, making it seem that it was about Baldoni. However, that actress was Jenny Slate, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, it had nothing to do with Justin Baldoni. Her complaint was against his producing partner, Jamie Heath. I'm gonna read this briefly because the wording matters. Quote, it stemmed from an interaction with Heath about the apartment Slate had rented in New York City, where It Ends With Us was shooting. Slate, who has a toddler, told him, his producing partner, she wasn't thrilled with the space she had rented, but that moving wasn't an option because she didn't want to lose the sizable security deposit, around $15,000. Heath informed Slate that Wayfarer, his production company, would reimburse her for the lost security deposit so she could find better accommodations. But apparently, he made the offer using language that made Slate uncomfortable. Sources say he focused intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother.
Except she hadn't. In fact, she hadn't even filed a complaint against Justin's producing partner, as was originally reported. The Hollywood Reporter, which first broke the story, had to update its information 3 separate times.
They said that Slate, quote, filed a complaint to the film's distributor, Sony, about the incident. Turns out she did not. The Hollywood Reporter amended their article online and changed the wording from, she filed a complaint to the film's distributor, Sony, about the incident, and then it was changed to, quote, word got back to Sony, the film's distributor. According to sources, Sony then informed Wayfarer about it. And literally today, The Hollywood Reporter amended the article one more time, and the wording was changed yet again. It now reads, and I literally a moment ago went and checked, as of this second that I'm uploading the video, it reads, quote, according to sources, Sony became aware of Slate's concerns and informed Wayfarer about them.
The Hollywood Reporter later claimed that they had to update the article due to a technical glitch that caused an earlier version to be uploaded. But was that really the truth?
You know what really happened here? First, the truth was exposed. Meaning, the Hollywood Reporter initially shared that Jenny Slate filed a complaint. They were given bad information. They then changed that on their website, and then they changed it yet again. But the changing is not a good look for the hair care professional. This, that we now know, weakens her case because Jenny Slate did not file a complaint either against Baldoni or his producing partner. And the Basement Banisher is trying to make it seem like there were multiple reported incidents and complaints of inappropriate behavior with not just her, but with other cast members.
Overall, Team Blake's case has been filled with inconsistencies, while Team Justin has been able to present a clearer, more cohesive timeline of events.
She puts in bold, none of the requested protections, her 17 points that she wanted, were tied in any way to Ms. Lively's creative input in the film. And they were made months before any discussions regarding the cut of the film. Oh, so you're saying you made the allegations first, and then you tried to make input and change the direction of the film. Are you saying that the chicken had to come before the egg? Yes, sweetie, the chicken had to come before the egg. Obviously, it was because you made these demands and 17 points, which made no sense, and which Brian Freeman went through and thoroughly debunked these points. We've read the messages, sweetheart, okay? We know you said no to the intimacy coordinator. We know that it made no sense that you were then saying there must be an intimacy coordinator on set at all times. And so, yes, first you're going to make the sexual harassment threat, and then you're going to go, as you guys did, and they proved in the background, I want this, I want that. If I don't get what I want, I'm not going to show up. He has to be put into the basement.
As things continue to spiral for Team Blake, she's now pushing for a stronger protective order than the one the court has already granted. Allegedly, this move is less about safety and more about salvaging what's left of her reputation, especially since the court of public opinion believes that if her texts are made public, she'll be the one to take the fall.
Depositions and discovery are to come, and Taylor Swift. And others, but Taylor Swift. Seems that her former bestie is really worried about, let's say, text messages between her and the global pop superstar getting out there. So, as part of the Woody Allen apologist's request for additional protections, she and her legal team are asking for an attorney's eyes only category.
Of course, Blake claims she's seeking the order to protect her family.
The A-lister, in her own mind, insists that the court has good cause to adopt the proposed extra protective order, explaining, quote, as detailed in Miss Lively's amended complaint, Miss Lively, her family, and other members of the cast, various fact witnesses, and individuals that have spoken out publicly in support of Miss Lively have received violent, profane, sexist, and threatening communications.
Blake's publicist, on the other hand, is now trying to distance themselves from the controversy, insisting they had nothing to do with it.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' publicist is asking to be dropped from Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. Weeks after Justin filed a defamation complaint against his It Ends With Us co-star Blake and her husband Ryan in response to her sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit against him, and named their publicist Leslie Sloan as a co-defendant, the Vision PR owner filed a motion on February 20th to dismiss his countersuit.
But how will it all unfold? And who will come out on top in this PR and court battle? We'll have to wait and see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the biggest entertainment stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.